Good morning, everybody. It's now 10:01. We will call to order our Board of Commissioners meeting for today. It is Tuesday, September 27th. If you would, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, we will accept public comment for items that do not appear on our agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will accept public comment as each item is under consideration. Any additions to our agenda today?
None from here.
Okay. Look for a motion to approve our sets of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from September 26th and September 20th.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. September 6th. Commissioner, is that
Yes.
okay? Okay, 6th, okay, all right.
September 6th and 20th.
20th, okay, sounds good, all right. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried, okay. All right, we're going to jump into our proclamations. We have two today. Our first is Proclamation 31, and we're going to welcome up some guests to help us celebrate Center County Sports Hall of Fame Day here in our community. We have with us Keith Beerley, the Vice President, and Bonnie Burris, the Secretary. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Anxious to hear who you're honoring.
Yes.
Thanks for having us in again. This is our 7th year as a board, but only our 5th induction because the first year we just got organized and then we had a COVID year like a lot of other folks. We're going to be honoring 13 people this year. Our election process is we typically elect 8. This year we elected 9 living members, and then we elect 2 deceased. We often install a legend, which is somebody who has made an incredible contribution to sports in the county, but it might have been so long ago that the voters might not realize who they are. And then we also often honor someone for community service through sports. I'll highlight a couple of the inductees just to show you the type of folks that are going in. We're fortunate that all 5 public school districts have inductees this year. First of all, Jim Gonder is a longtime coach from Phillipsburg. He won almost 1,100 games, over 600 girls softball games, including 3 state titles, and over 400 volleyball games. So he is one of the winningest coaches in Center County history from Phillipsburg. From Bald Eagle, we have Paul Packer, who is one of the famous Packer family wrestling. 5 brothers wrestled for Bald Eagle in the lower weights. Paul won the 95-pound state championship and then went on to be a referee for 37 years in high school wrestling and the Eastern Wrestling League. From Bellefonte here, we have someone that's kind of at the other extreme. They only participated for 2 years but made an incredible impact during that time frame. Jerry Shivery is considered one of the greatest running backs in Center County history. He was first team All-State, Associated Press, and United Press International, and prior to his senior year was nominated or named preseason All-American. He rushed in a 9-game season for Bellefonte for 1,792 yards, which is just shy of 200 a game. And for a high school running back to run once for 200 a game, he averaged that. Ron Bracken, who's on our board and was at the CDT for 40 or 50 years, said that the 3 best running backs in Center County history are Matt Suey, Mike Kondo, and Jerry Shivery. So he's a 3rd inductee. A 4th inductee is from my hometown, actually Rebersburg in the Penns Valley area, Marty Elgin. Marty's kind of typical of the type of athlete we often induct where they've won 10 letters. They've just excelled in every sport. Marty was the first Big 33 nominee in football out of Penns Valley. He led the team in rushing, receiving yards, touchdowns, and he was the kicker. In baseball, he led the team in batting average, home run, runs scored, runs batted in, and he pitched. In wrestling, he was district champion with one arm, literally in the finals. He had done something to his left shoulder. He defaulted out of the regionals, but he was the heart and soul of what was known as the Big 7 in those days. Penns Valley's wrestling team was undefeated his senior year, And the final 7 guys had like 4 or 5 losses total for all 7 of them. They once were losing to Lock Haven 19-0 after 5 weights and thought they had them right where they wanted them and beat them 21-19. And finally, in State College High School, we have an example of our community service, which is Don Hastings. Don started a Burning Tea League golf league in State College at Penn State years ago, and he decided that if you made a birdie, you would chip in a couple dollars and it would go to charity. He has now donated over $150,000 to Mount Nittany Medical Center for cancer research. So those are 5 of the inductees from the different school districts to show you some are 40-year coaches, some were just an incredible athlete over a 2-year period. I'll just run through the names real quickly. Homer Barr is our legend, State College wrestling coach, was a 3-time All-American at Penn State. Laura Caldwell Cunningham was a Bellefonte softball pitcher who excelled at Bellefonte, holds almost all the records for strikeouts or run average, went to St. Francis and was named the outstanding student athlete at St. Francis. Bo Sankey from Phillipsburg was all-state in football and played minor league baseball. Ellery Seitz here from Bellefonte was captain of the Bellefonte football team and wrestling team, went to Penn State and was the captain of both teams there. Larry Walker was similar. He, here in Bellefonte, was all-conference in football, wrestling, and baseball, went to Lock Haven and was all-conference there in wrestling and football, and captain. Bud Whitehill was 37 years the coach of Lycoming, started the wrestling program there and won over 350 matches. John Wetzler from Bellefonte coached here 40 years in football and had a top 10 team. And interestingly enough, one of his top running backs was the county commissioner who served here a little while ago, Rick Rogers. I remember going to watch Rick play halfback in those days. And finally, Jerry Spackman was the first Center County to ever sign an NFL contract. He's from the Bald Eagle area, and he also had exceptional statistics in college, breaking different records at Southern Utah and Colorado State. So bottom line is we have 13 inductees, all of whom we think are well deserving of this honor. Our banquet is October 16th at the Penn Stater. It'll be our 5th induction class, and Bonnie is our secretary, Bonnie Burris, and she's going to just talk a little bit about membership, nominations, the banquet, how you make a reservation, that kind of thing. Okay?
First of all, I will tell you that like 2 weeks ago, we launched a new website for the Center County Sports Hall of Fame. And I want to mention that the website address is www.centercountysportshof, and that's all small letters, .com. We have the forms for our banquet registration appearing on our website if you're interested in coming to the banquet. It is going to be held October 16. The social begins at 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, where you get to visit with the inductees at a table with all of their memorabilia displayed. The banquet hall opens at 1:15, and we will escort the inductees to the front of the room and welcome them and have a few remarks, and then we will move on to lunch. And right following the lunch, we will have the ceremony for the inductees. We're coming down to the point where we're going to have to stop accepting reservations because of making the seating chart and everything. So our deadline for registering is October 3 by close of that day. And to attend the banquet, it's $45 a person. So it's a very rewarding event. The inductees appreciate what we do for them. They're very excited about it. Right now, we have a total of 294 attending our banquet, and I know there's still some reservations out there coming in the mail that we haven't received yet. Our membership, first of all, let me go back. The form to register is on our website if you would like to attend the banquet. Our membership form is also on our website. Right now, we have 302 lifetime members and 59 annual memberships, and their membership will expire the 31st of December 2022 unless they choose to renew for another year. That form is also on the website. So the lifetime memberships, I think 95% of them, it's $60 a year. If you're young, you'll see that. The cost is on the form, but the majority are $60 a year. Annual memberships are $10 a year. So if you are interested in becoming a member, check out our website. Anything else, Keith?
Some people ask us, obviously, how are you nominated for this and elected? And you might be interested in our election process. We have a 3-page nomination form, which looks intimidating to start with, but isn't that tough. You fill that out, and then it goes to the nomination committee, which is a committee of the whole. It's the entire board. We then select 16 living people to be on the ballot and 4 deceased, and then 8 and 2 are elected. We have, as Bonnie said, around 300 and some members, and typically 250 vote. Last year, I was in charge of the election, counting them and stuff. We have paper ballots, and it's a fun process to go through. You have to vote for the exact number of candidates that can be elected, or your ballot doesn't count. So you have to vote for 8 living and 2 deceased. And we would encourage people to nominate because we always want more nominations than there are spots on the ballot, because we think it shouldn't be a matter of attrition that if you lost one year, you're automatically going to be elected the next year. So anyway, that's it. We appreciate you recognizing the Hall of Fame, and if you have any questions, be glad to answer them if you have any.
I'm going to talk to you later. I actually have somebody I'd like to nominate, so.
I think our nomination form is also on the website.
It is. It's on
Okay, thank you.
And Keith, how long do you need to be retired from sports before you're considered for the Hall of
There are
Fame?
3 ways you are eligible. If you're over 55 years of age, you're automatically eligible. If you've been in the sport, and these are, you don't have to make all 3 of them, over 55 or 25 years in the sport, or retired from the sport for 3 years, meaning we do have some professional athletes that are in their 30s that retired at 32, they're 35, and they're now eligible. The majority of the people that we do put in are probably in their 60s, but Laura Caldwell Cunningham would be a perfect example, where I'm not sure how old Laura is, but she's probably 30-ish, and she was incredible here in Bellefonte High School and then at St. Francis. Coaches, we have lots of coaches that have coached 35 or 40 years and have incredible records, and they're often going in.
So Keith and Bonnie, this event continues to be inspirational and really helps to capture the history of all that's happened within Center County. The event is incredible. It's well put together, excellently produced, and really celebrates each person. I think they leave there feeling like they're more appreciated and really do feel like the history that they've made here and the impact has made a difference. And so it's great that you're here today. We're looking to proclaim October 16th, the day that your event's going to be held, as Sports Hall of Fame Day here in Center County. So if there's no further questions or comments, we'll look for a motion. Okay.
Motion to adopt Proclamation number 31 of 2022, proclaiming October 16th as Center County Sports Hall of Fame Day in Center County.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion, questions? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. We'd be delighted to present it to you if you'd be willing to come forward, and we can send you a photo.
I'm
Of
always
this?
tempted to vote when I'm sitting here.
Or say aye or something.
You can, there's nothing holding you back, sure.
You know, I still
Absolutely.
use your
Yeah.
pen, so you can sign
Yeah.
things
There you
too.
go, Keith, we'll give that to you, okay? All right. Thanks, Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you
again,
very
Keith,
much.
thank you, Bonnie. Take
Thanks.
care, okay? We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Bonnie. I'll probably be in touch. I think I'm gonna make every effort to make it this year, so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will let you know quickly.
Thank you,
Okay.
Steve.
Hey, thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
For our next proclamation, we are going to head into the Day of Caring, and we're going to welcome up Leanne Lenz and Celesta Powell. And we're going to talk about another really important event here in the community that many people get involved in, the Day of Caring, and want to learn all the things that are happening. So we'll turn it over to you, Leanne and Celesta. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm Leanne Lenz, Executive Director of the Center County United Way. I think, as many of you know, the United Way partners with 24 different partner agencies in the community to provide service to our county in the areas of health, economic stability, and education. So we raise money every year to make that happen, and we have a huge campaign goal this year. So I do want to thank the commissioners and the Center County government for the support that they provide to the Center County United Way. It really does go a long way in helping our community. So thank you for that. But today we're here to talk about Day of Caring. So Day of Caring is upcoming October 7th. We're really excited about it. And on the Day of Caring, we are caring for our entire community, but in a slightly different way. We're supporting those nonprofits who need some help. So we mobilize volunteers from all across the county, from employee groups, service groups, schools. You'll hear a little bit more from Celeste in a moment. We've done a great job with that this year, so that we can get people out there to help nonprofits with some of those projects that don't get done. So our nonprofits are often focusing all of their resources and all of their energy on providing service to their clients. And some things go by the wayside in terms of getting projects done at their facilities and things like that. So that's where Day of Caring comes in. So we're really excited about it, and I'm just going to pass it over to our event planner this year, Celesta Powell, to share some exciting highlights about this year.
Thanks. Good morning. So, Day of Caring, 29 years. Always the first Thursday in October. So if you need to mark your calendar, it's next Thursday. I think Leanne was super excited. It's the 6th.
Oh, good.
She'll be
Okay.
late.
That's okay, that's okay.
So currently, we have about 50 sites in the Center County region. Some highlights, kind of base to base, is Moshannon Valley. They're painting the Y. So I do need a couple more folks there, but not many. But Mel is always up for some open hands. Over here in Bellefonte, we have the Union Cemetery. And then we also have the Y. We have some usual suspects that we always have. But the Union Cemetery is new. Pretty cool place. A lot of governors, a lot of Penn State presidents, a lot of unique people are up there. So they're trying to keep it where it's respectful and up to date. Biggest highlight in State College is Marcon is going to put a roof on for Strawberry Fields. This will be their 5th roof. So that's really a testament to what Day of Caring is. We have, at this point, I'm kind of terrified to check my phone because everybody's kind of coming out of the woodwork to keep volunteering, and I don't like to turn any free hands away. So at this rate, we're at about 550, what I keep referring to as the professional volunteer, which means someone that may have been working on Thursday that would come out of work to kind of assist. This morning, the Marines called, so they're coming. We'll have about 120 of them. They will be at one of our largest sites, which is the Center Furnace Mansion and Bull Mansion. So both of those sites take on an enormous amount of folks. The other highlight is we have just shy of about 1,000 students that will be coming throughout the center region. If you're in Bellefonte, be on the lookout. The entire Bellefonte senior class will be out doing service projects. Mr. Fedison has worked pretty hard to make sure they can be at the Union Cemetery. They'll be at the Faith Center. They're painting at the Y. They are going to be out. They're also going to be at Seven Mountains, Chrisland, because they created their own site, and Bull Mansion as well. Delta middle schoolers are out. Bald Eagle has created their own projects. Grays Woods Elementary is involved. So 29 years means that Day of Caring is pretty much embedded in our community. So if anybody wants to reach out, you can email me at dayofcaring@ccunitedway.org, and I will duct tape a spot for you. You also are welcome to come to the breakfast. We have that at the Bryce Jordan Center at 7:30 in the morning on Thursday. Get to have a nice DJ, some fun food, Soup Turner will pump you up, and then we expect you to get hard to work. So that's the Day of Caring.
Celesta and Leanne, thank you so much. Again, you said it's embedded in the community. It's a great event, and over the last 28 years, as it says here in the proclamation, over 66,000 volunteers, 3,560 projects. So what an incredible impact and legacy. So thank you for carrying that torch forward. Absolutely.
We see the results of the Day of Caring, and it's amazing. You know, buildings that were starting to run down now look great. Several of the facilities like Center Furnace and Bull Mansions are irreplaceable treasures here in Center County. And of course, the YMCA's as well. And now with the addition of Union Cemetery, which is just above the hill of a lot of the county facilities, including the courthouse. It's tremendous. Thank you.
All right, with that, we will look for a motion to adopt this proclamation.
Motion to adopt Proclamation number 32 of 2022, proclaiming October 6th as a Day of Caring in Center County, involving 24 partner agencies, 50 sites, and if I'm doing the math right, already 1,670 volunteers. Thank you.
I will second that.
Okay.
It's a lot of volunteers.
I know.
Good luck coordinating that.
It's a lot of emails.
It has been moved and seconded. All those, or any further discussion or questions for anybody? Okay. All those in favor of approving do so by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, and likewise, we'd like to welcome you up, and we'll present the proclamation to you.
We have gifts for you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wonderful.
You're
Okay.
gonna have to do some sort of work on October
All right.
6th.
All right.
Yes.
Just let me know.
There you go.
Okay. No, thank you very much.
Yes,
Leanne.
yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There we go.
We're
Okay.
good. It's an extra
We
one.
need to hold
Perfect.
them up, or what's?
Yeah,
what's
sure, here, I'll hold that.
Okay. There we
All
go.
right.
You hold
There we go.
that.
Okay.
You hold that.
Here,
Oh,
you
very
hold this
cool.
with me.
We'll hold that.
Okay.
What a moment.
Got it?
I'll send you a copy.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Your phone
Gentlemen.
doesn't explode.
Thanks so
Okay,
much.
thanks.
Take care. Best of luck, okay?
Absolutely. Come see us. We'll put you to work.
Sounds good.
Hold your horns when you see the shirts.
Okay, we're going to head into our contracts and authorizations. We will welcome up Carrie Hall at this time. Carrie, good morning. Hello.
Good morning. So I'm requesting signature on a project modification request to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for an existing grant, which is entitled the Center County Hope Initiative COPE Projects. COPE stands for Comprehensive Opioid Abuse Programs. This funding was set to end September 30th of this month. That was always the original plan. We got a one-year extension last year. However, I was contacted by PCCD indicating they were requesting from the BJA, the federal government, to extend all of the COPE grants for the other counties as well because not everyone had expended all of their money. Just as of yesterday, they received final word that it was approved, their extension. So I come before the board to do that. We will have most of our funds expended. So this grant has sort of been plagued by COVID, has kind of ripped it apart from our original plan. But where we are at now is we printed all 4 of the resource guides that we have within the county, and we've received some of those from the printers. There's a paper shortage still, so we're waiting for some of those. But those were all ordered. And then the other piece of this grant included the naloxone follow-up program, which was a partnership pilot project with Ferguson Township Police Department and Bellefonte Police Department. And that was following a naloxone administration by one of those departments. They would go back out 24 to 48 hours later to make contact with that person, and a certified recovery specialist would go along in an attempt to encourage that person to seek further treatment for their substance use disorder. So by getting this extension, that will give us a full year to expend those funds, because we have not expended all of that money that was in that line item. So instead of not getting to complete that project, this extension will give us more time to do so. So while it is very last minute, I'm glad that PCCD was able to get the extension, and we can take more of an opportunity to spend those funds in the coming year. So then it will expire September 30th of 2023. So, any questions?
Fantastic. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, any questions for Carrie on this? Okay. All right. And our absolutely. And are Bellefonte and Ferguson Police Department still willing to partner with us with this?
Yes, at last we discussed they were, they haven't had to use the program as of yet.
Oh, okay.
Because administrations have been a little bit lower this year, which is a good thing, as well as overdose deaths. But I will contact the chiefs and let them know that we're getting this extension, and we can continue this should they need the funds. The money was primarily for overtime of their officers, should they need that. And they may not, need to follow up that, and then to pay the certified recovery specialist time. So.
Carrie, is there any opportunities for us to expand the breadth of the program under this extension, or is it pretty much they're keeping the guardrails in the same place?
I could check with them to see, because, so this extension, so they, PCC has kind of modified their project modification requests, the PMRs, as we call them. So typically, there's like 3 options. One that changes the length and time, so you're asking for an extension at no additional cost, which is what the plan was for this. One that kind of changes the scope of the project. So that one involves more of a process to approve that, because then it's being reviewed by more entities than just, asking for a length and time. So, it's possible. When we selected those 2 police departments initially, if you remember, it was because they had the data that showed the need in those 2 areas. So that's why we went with that as a pilot.
I guess what my thought was, with the proliferation of fentanyl in our communities now, whether or not we could do an educational program to particularly parents right now with the enhanced marketing impact that might include to younger people.
I'm not sure if we could do that with this funds, but I think we could look for other opportunities, and perhaps with drug and alcohol, because they have multiple sources of funding specific to substance use disorder of opioids. But yeah, that would be a possibility, especially with this new pastel fentanyl that seems to be making its way around.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further question, we will look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the grant extension for the PCCD grant.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
All right, well, we will welcome up Dave at this time for 2 items. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. Thank you. I come before the board today for 2 different items. The first one would be for asking the board to consider approving the sale of county vehicles at a public auction as outlined on the attached, and I can read the description of the auction. The auction would be held at the Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction located at 41 Airstrip Drive in Mill Hall, PA. And the date we're considering is Thursday, October 20th. And the public auction starts at 8 a.m. that day. The auction is held every Thursday for dealers. However, on the 3rd Thursday of every month, they do the public auction for vehicles such as this. They sell for Bell Atlantic and various other entities. They can register, the prospective bidders could register anytime in person starting Friday, October 14th at the auction. It's open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each business day, or for starting at 7 a.m. on the day of the sale up till the sale. All registered bidders must register in person, and the forms of payment they accept are cash, cashier's check, or a personal check with a bank letter of guarantee. all of our vehicles would be sold as is with no guarantee due to the age and condition. And we would identify and offer 35 vehicles as of today at this sale. Our cost to conduct this would not exceed $12,100 total. That's all the fees for transportation to the auctions facility, the sale of each vehicle. If it's sold to an online bidder, it's $50 extra. So the $12,100 is based on the most it could cost us to sell the 35 vehicles, including de-lettering anything that has lettering and potentially cleaning anything, touching it up that needs it. So that's what it would amount to.
Okay, Dave, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments on that first item?
No,
Okay.
sounds great.
All right, and then we'll talk about some influx of vehicles.
Yes, so to get rid of 35, we need to replace some. We've had several departments that have been down on vehicles, and we've finally had the opportunity to get some Penn State in-kind vehicles. I'm asking the board to consider approving the in-kind purchase of 8 total vehicles using the in-kind funds. And that would be 5 Jeep Patriots and 3 Ford Police Interceptors that would be placed in the various departments here in the county to get them back to their needed capacity of vehicles.
Good. All right, thank you, Dave. And again, as we've said before, any other vehicles come, we're certainly willing to
Yes.
look at using those in-kind funds. So
Yes,
appreciate
we're
that.
working on that as we speak, absolutely.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions or comments on that second item?
I just wanted to
Yep.
make the comment, Dave and I had talked before the meeting, and you indicated that 12,100 was a worst-case scenario. if you will.
Correct.
It's probably going to be significantly
It would
less.
be less than that. Obviously, we want to sell all 35 vehicles, but there's certain things that we allowed a cost for that we probably won't do, such as cleaning everything. Certain ones, we will do that ourselves, but there's some that, in talking with the auction people, if we let them touch them up a little bit, it could mean a few extra $100 each vehicle. And they're in the business, so I certainly know that they know what they're talking about. But most of them will have them ready to go when they get there, and they won't have to do any of that, so, yeah.
Anxious to see how this turns out.
Yeah, we've tried, as Commissioner Dersham knows, we've had public auctions here in the parking lot, we've had online auctions, and this is something new, so I'm very confident we'll do okay on it. It's interesting, and then if it works, we could do it maybe annually or however often we need to and liquidate. The online auctions are great if they take the vehicles, but in the past several times, half the vehicles never were taken, so when they drop the hammer at the auction on the 20th, that vehicle is no longer ours, and, we sign off the title, and the new owner gets it, so, and we get paid for it.
Best of luck with that, Dave. We'll see how
Thank you.
it turns out in a few weeks.
Thanks for working things out with Penn State. Those are specialty vehicles that I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah, we're excited about that. We've been in need for a while, and we're excited to get some more vehicles in the fleet, yes.
With that, we will look for a motion to approve the 2 transportation items.
Motion to approve the transportation items 1 and 2.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Thanks
you.
again, Dave. Okay. At this time, we will welcome up Betsy Barnt for this next item, and I believe we have a guest with us as well.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm joined this morning by Ford McNutt, owner of Professional Choice Mortgage. We're before you to seek approval to add PMC LLC DBA, Professional Choice Mortgage, as a new participating lender, working with our first-time home buyer program. Approval would be for 1 year from October 1st, 2022 to October 1st, 2023, with renewal upon request.
All right. Anything you'd like to add about the interest in this or the space you see where you could be getting some folks out? Is there an interest from the clients that you're serving?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to consider my request.
Sure.
I've been originating mortgages here for 26 years or so.
Sure.
And in the past, being a mortgage broker, I guess when this program initially came out, I didn't have lenders that would be accepting of the, like the second lien that you guys provide. I have just discovered that most of my lenders allow it now, and I actually do have a client that we would like to consider that it would be very helpful for. She's a single mom with 3 kids, so it's a great program. It's good for the clients that qualify, and especially with kind of rates going up, every little bit helps. So.
Fantastic. That's great to hear that there's an avenue for it, and we're happy that you applied and we can get this done so quickly to facilitate this. So thank you again. Okay.
I appreciate Betsy's help, too.
Absolutely. Betsy, thank you for bringing this in front of us and getting this done so quickly. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
I'd like
Yeah.
to repeat, thanks again, Betsy, for moving this along so quickly, and thanks to the Treasurer and Controller's Office for processing the paperwork. I think this is the first time we've added a new participating lender in the last 2 or 3 years.
Correct.
And as Ford mentioned, there's a family on the other side of this transaction who are waiting for a home. So thanks again for moving it along.
It's been an incredible program over the course of many years, and I think it's an opportunity for a lot of folks to perhaps be able to gain home ownership, or maybe otherwise it would not be possible. And we appreciate you participating, and thanks, Betsy, for everything you do to make that all possible. So.
And just to clarify, for the acronym is PCM, correct? PCM. Okay, fantastic. All right, we look for a motion then to approve this item.
Motion to approve PCM LLC DBA Professional Choice Mortgage as a participating lender for the first-time home buyers program.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Congratulations. Okay, thank you.
very much.
All right, thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a presentation today on important work being done in the broadband space. We will welcome up Liz Lose for the presentation. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning. I just want to make one note to the item for the correction. The way it's written up, and my apologies to Aaron that I didn't catch it, it makes it sound as if there's some kind of relationship in partnership between Center County and First Light. At this point, there isn't. First Light is simply asking for a letter of support. Yesterday, I found out that there has been a slight change to the scope of the work. However, it is still a significant project, and that's what I want to speak to you gentlemen about this morning.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
Okay. Where'd my picture go?
That's okay. We're
I
gonna get it back. We have faith.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I'll start to explain since I'm here. First Light is a fiber optic network owner. They acquired the assets of Kimber. If you remember the Kimber network throughout Pennsylvania, it was the 1,800 miles of network that was constructed to hook in all of the colleges for the state system of higher education. This has been the transition of Kimber to be more of a consultant versus a network owner-operator. We received their letter of support last week because they are making an application for the middle mile grant, the broadband program, through the NTIA. And as you'll see, this is the span of the network that First Light owns. Center County, we're in the hub. We're kind of in the mix there, and kind of everything of the network branches out. This particular application that First Light is making is going to be at the Commonwealth scale. They have a number of different points from which they want to expand the network, including here in Center County. Their indications have been that they're looking at the eastern side of Center County. What is particularly important about this is if the grant would be awarded, they are looking to increase capacity. They need to get more bandwidth within the existing network, because the theory at this point is in order to build out a network, they have to almost start to build up. to guarantee that as we continue to build out, that there's going to be enough existing capacity bandwidth in these networks. So this is significant to Center County because this is going to open the opportunities for additional companies to come in and make these interconnections. In the scope of our broadband strategic planning, we've talked a lot about getting out to these unserved and underserved areas, but First Light had the foresight to say, we need to really concentrate a little bit on the networks we have at hand to bulk that capacity up. So that is very significant, especially for Center County. So as of this morning, they have, given this good proposal. We're in the middle of this hub based on our work on the broadband front. In receipt of the plan here within 2 days, staff is recommending that you provide them the letter of support for this grant program.
Fantastic. Is there any amount that they're thinking about, or is that sort of between them and the federal government?
Right now, that's between them and the federal government. Obviously, if they're looking at making statewide investments, it's going to be a significant amount. And it's also a very competitive process. They're going up against other companies, across the United States. The deadline is September 30th. So there's a lot of broadband engineers this morning that are scrambling to get their final cost estimates in place, but nonetheless, it's a significant project, and we wish them the best of luck because it is going to open those opportunities, countywide.
Fantastic. Okay, Liz, thank you so much. Any comments, questions?
Well, I've been working closely with Liz. I wanted to thank you and planning staff for doing such a great job with this. A lot of the timing of this is all coming together fabulously. It's wonderful to hear that they're going to potentially concentrate on expanding the fiber backbone in eastern Center County because we're seeing a lot of new customers in rural areas that take up the broadband. And as hopefully the people at home are aware, the Center County Commissioners are some of the most active in the state with rural broadband initiatives, and we're going to continue to support rural broadband deployment. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.
No, just one question in regard to this network is basically, it will be the hub of many other branches off of it. Is that what I want to understand?
Yes, correct, yes.
So as we deploy different technologies, we could potentially use their system as the basis of that expansion out into the underserved areas of our communities.
Yeah, exactly. So what you see up on screen is what we essentially call that middle mile network. And there's much larger out there that have the more capacity. Do you remember last year when the Comcast line got hit and the entire East Coast was without internet and everybody went insane? Okay, that line is somewhere. It's not on this map. Those are, one of the alignments, but that's kind of those very large networks. This is that middle mile network that then creates those opportunities to branch out from to get to your end users, your customers. But it's not much different than, say, like in the gas industry when we were talking about those kind of middle mile pipelines to get points of delivery. It's essentially the same concept.
I would just hope that, you brought up the Comcast discussion, and I think that's really where we need a sense of redundancy as well. And I'm hoping that this conversation includes that, because you can't rely on one pipeline, if you will, of information. When that goes down and the whole system goes down, there's got to be a better way of having a redundancy or a backup to guard against that in the future, because that would be tragic.
Yeah, correct. And you bring up a really good point. With First Light, they operate on the basis of what is known as open access. So they make their lines available to multiple customers. It's whoever can bring forth the best proposal, and that drives up competition, and that's really what we need, because per our discussions with other counties, they're very limited. You have 2 or 3 incumbent carriers that really control the market. To make that line available to smaller providers, again, driving up the competition to bring down prices.
I think that should help us in our conversations moving forward to try to find providers for some of the rural parts of the county that we're looking to serve, so be good. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I can support this.
Thank you for your continued work in the broadband sphere, Liz. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will look for a motion to approve this letter of support.
Motion to approve the letter of support for the National Telecommunications and Information Administration Middle Mile Grant for a fiber build proposal.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments?
The county did the testing, the signal strength testing. Was Eastern Center County identified as a particular area of need, I guess you would say?
Yeah, so the initial FCC mapping that we will receive, it showed that the eastern southern portion of Center County is extremely unserved and underserved. And by that, I mean they had the thresholds of broadband speed. So anything below 25.3, which is 25 down, 3 up, is considered to be unserved. We are awaiting, we're 3 days out from getting our broadband strategic plan. That is going to include more detailed data, and we're also awaiting, as we talked about the timing of everything, the FCC is going to be doing some additional updated mapping. So that is really going to be that indicator to us of where the need is.
Is the plan put together by county officials, or you have other outside experts? Who puts together the plan?
If you remember, we hired CTC Technology last year, and we also had them set up and perform that speed test that the residents and businesses could go in, and that was simply done to start to kind of verify and reinforce what we were seeing from those initial maps.
Thank you.
All right, Liz, thanks again. All those in favor of the letter of support, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Thanks again. Appreciate it. We have today's consent agenda for approval. Is there any questions on that before we look to? Okay, would there be a motion?
Motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
We'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has carried. Okay, Commissioner Higgins, the check run.
Sure. Just a slightly smaller than average check run this week of $1,362,305.77. The check of the week is to the Hartman Group, which is our largest insurance broker, for $50,000. County government is a large operation that does a lot of things that can create liability, so insurance is very important to us. We'd like to thank the Hartman Group for being a partner with the county for many years. Would like to make the motion to approve the check run dated September 23rd.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the check run. Any questions on the check run? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. John, for administrator's report, anything to report?
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, Commissioner Dershowitz, voter registration.
Okay, we have this morning 105,836 registered voters in Center County. That's up 192 from last report, and the roster looks as such. It's the Democratic registrants are 44,445, Green Party 141, Libertarian 655, no affiliation 14,404, and the Republican Party has 42,406. When you add the 3,785 all others, you get the complete total of 105,836. The feature small party of the day is the open party, and the opens have one. So there's one opening for the opens. So I'd also like to recognize precinct number 77, which is Snowshoe West, that votes at the Moshannon Community Center. And in the last election, there were total registration of 346 voters. There were 136 ballots cast, which led to a percentage voter turnout of 39.31%. I would like to thank the folks at the Moshannon Community Center for allowing us to use their facility. They've been wonderful over the years. And I would like to also thank all the election workers of precinct number 77. So with that, that's my report. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any executive sessions to hold or report, John?
No executive sessions to report, however, there is a need to meet in executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
Thank you. Before we do that, any questions, Gary or Peyton, today?
We're in some areas, is the county in need of poll workers for the general election? No.
We're always in need, on a variety of different levels. We can either use them at the polling places, or I think we're still looking for some folks in our vote by mail room as well. So I think there's lots of opportunities for folks to be present on election days and to contact our elections office. And I believe the number is 814-355-6703. So if anybody is interested in participating, helping out, we would love to have you. So there you have it.
Do you know how bad of a need there is this year? Is you still confident that the
Well, go ahead, Michael.
No, please.
I think we always have need. I don't know that it's any worse than other years, but this year, of course, there's the opportunity to help out, and we'll certainly take it. But general elections are not a small undertaking, so we look forward to having as many hands on board as we can get.
What's the status or change in status, if possible, of the Pennsylvania State University Center County in-kind agreement? Has there been any developments recently?
There haven't been. We have I believe it's a 20-year agreement with them, and so we're still, renegotiation wouldn't happen for several years. There's an escalator in there, and the amount started, it's $300,000 or so in-kind funds, and it's crept up to about $350,000, but it continues to increase every year slightly.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will look for a motion to go into executive session for a personnel matter at this time.
Motion to go to executive session at 10:53.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you all very much.